Okay, so last time, marami na tayong na-discuss, no? We discussed the different classification of matter. Inisa-isa natin yan. And then, we also discussed the different measurable properties of matter. So that includes the changes that they undergo and the evidences. We ended here, evidences of chemical change. So let us continue with the processes involved in chemical change. So please take note, all of these are under chemical change. Let's start with oxidation. When you say oxidation class, there is here the presence of oxygen. So meaning nagkakaroon ng interaction yung ating isang substance sa oxygen. So, when you say oxidation, pag narinig nyo yung word na yan, oxidation, that means either the substance or a chemical substance lost a hydrogen or most of the time, nagigain siya ng oxygen. So this one is an example. You have here a magnesium na element, and then nagkaroon siya ng interaction with our oxygen here sa air. Dali lang. Change lang ako ng color aking pen. Okay. So, kapag ka nagkaroon sila ng interaction, si magnesium class becomes magnesium oxide. So, in this case, as you can see, nadagdagan siya ng oxygen. This one class is called oxidation. Right? Again, this is called oxidation kasi nag-gain siya ng oxygen. Kahit itong calcium, pag nagkaroon siya ng interaction with oxygen class, we will have calcium oxide. Next week na ako magturo sa inyo nitong how to make a chemical or how to predict the products of a chemical reaction as well as balancing ha. Papakita ko muna sa inyo na this one is an example of an oxidation kasi there is an addition of oxygen from your original reagent. Okay? So yan sila, mga examples yan ng oxidation. Kaya kapag ka naririnig kayo, uy, na-oxidize na siya, ganun action yun actually ng oxygen. Kaya kung napapansin niyo the processes involving oxidation, usually yung mga substance mo na expose siya sa air. Kasi saan naman natin makikita ang oxygen, di ba, sa air. Okay? So, kaya mag-oxidize siya. Okay? Na pwede din naman loss of hydrogen. So, let us think of an example na maglo-loss siya ng hydrogen. Wait lang. We have, for example, the acetic acid. CH3COOH. Okay? Pag ano ito? Baliktad. Wait lang. Hindi na lang acetic acid. Alcohol. Yung, ano ba yung iniinom? I hope hindi kayo umiinom nito ha. Ethanol yung alcohol na iniinom class as liquor, or we commonly call that as ethyl alcohol. So, the same class na antiseptic disinfectant na ginagamit natin, yung type of alcohol na iniinom or content ng mga liquor na yan. Pero, hindi ko din sinasabi na yung ginagamit natin na antiseptic, iinumin yun ha. Hindi yun siya kasi iba yung process, although the same type of alcohol. So, si alcohol, kapag ka na-oxidize ito, isusulat natin yung kanyang chemical formula. This is the chemical formula of alcohol, CH3CH2OH. Kapag ka nag-oxidize ito, magiging ano yan siya, acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde. So, ang mangyayari sa acetaldehyde, magiging CH3CHO na siya. CH3CHO. So, kung napansin ninyo, meron pa rin siyang CH3, meron pa rin siyang CH3, and then, this time, meron pa siyang ikadalawang C niya, pero ano ang napansin niyo, nawala yung isang hydrogen, Meron pa yung oxygen and then another hydrogen. So in this case, dalawang hydrogen talaga yung nawala, na displaced. So sa original substance, there is loss of hydrogen. Okay? So yung oxidation class can either be a gain of oxygen or yung original substance mo, nawalan siya ng hydrogen. Okay, so dalawang examples yan. Ito, nag-gain ng oxygen. Ito naman, natanggalan siya ng dalawa talaga class na hydrogen. Sige. So sa mga quizzes and sa exams, I will be giving equations and you have to determine whether that is an oxidation or other processes. Basta ang tandaan nyo lang, tingnan nyo lang talaga yung original substance and then yung product niya. Kung nag-gain siya ng oxygen, that's automatically oxidation. Or if nag-lose siya ng hydrogen, that is also oxidation. Now, ano pa yung ibang processes natin? Ito naman yung kabaliktaran ng oxidation. Actually, they happen at the same time, no? Merong oxidation, merong reduction. Kaya, minsan naririnig niyo yung term na redox. Yun siya. Oxidation and reduction. Now again, kabaliktaran ito ng oxidation. Ito naman, baliktad, no? Susulat natin. There is loss of oxygen, but this time there is gain of hydrogen. And in this case, magkakaroon ng decrease in the oxidation state. So pwede natin yung baliktarin yung yung ating previous example. Example, meron kang magnesium oxide, tapos nag-decompose siya into magnesium and oxygen. Iba-balance ko lang ha. So in this case, this is our original substance here. Nasa reactant siya na side. Tapos nag-decompose siya. Natanggalan siya ngayon ng oxygen. Ito yung example natin ng reduction. Okay? Or baliktarin natin yung acetaldehyde natin kanina, CH3, CHO. Nagkaroon siya ng interaction with hydrogen gas, and then nabuo yung ating ethyl alcohol. So as you can see, anong nangyari? Nag-gain siya ng hydrogen. Okay? So meaning yan, class, reduction is the total opposite of our oxidation. Okay? Nevertheless, both of them, class, are involved sa chemical change. No, merong chemical change kasi nga merong chemical interaction here. And then, merong nakalagay here, there is decrease in the oxidation state. Let's take that, for example, yung magnesium. Yung magnesium natin, magnesium oxide. Okay. Sige. Kapag yung element kasi nasa isang compound siya, no, most likely meron kasi yan siyang oxidation state. So for magnesium, I don't know if I have mentioned yesterday na kung nasaan silang group sa periodic table, example ito group 1, ito hydrogen, lahat sila positive 1. Tapos itong nasa group 2, lahat sila positive 2. So that includes the magnesium. Okay? So in this case, yung sa nasa compound ang magnesium, actually may charge siya dyan. That's positive 2. And then si oxygen naman is negative 2. Papakita ko lang sa inyo ha, next time na ako mag-discuss paano yan siya ma-check kung ano yung dapat oxidation state nila. So, pagdating dito, ang element kasi kapag hindi siya nag-form as compound, as in single element siya, wala kasi yan siyang charge. So, magnesium here is 0. And then, yes, though oxygen is a diatomic molecule, oxygen pa rin naman yung kanyang kabond, 0 pa rin yung charge niya. So, ano mangyayari dyan? Magnesium here, from positive 2, naging 0. Si oxygen naman, from negative 2, naging 0. So, positive 2 to 0, meaning yan, nag-decrease So there is a decrease in the oxidation state. So ito yung part na reduction, meaning na-reduce dito si magnesium. Tapos, si oxygen naman from -2 to 0, actually nag-increase yan. Do not be confused ha, kasi this is negative. Tapos, naging 0 siya, that means nag-increase yung kanyang value. So, in this case, ito naman yung part ng equation na oxidation. So, bakit ko pinapakita ito sa inyo? Kasi nga, redox partner yan sila. Sa isang equation, pag merong na-reduce, automatically, meron din yung na-oxidize. So, nag-e-exist yan sila in one equation. Gaya nito, si magnesium yung na-reduce from positive to naging 0 siya. Si oxygen naman ang na-oxidize from -2 naging 0 siya. Okay? So, yan yung tandaan ninyo. Aside from the addition or removal of oxygen as well as hydrogen, we can also see reduction sa kanilang oxidation state. But then again, I will discuss how to determine the oxidation state next meeting. Next meeting na natin. Okay? So aside from redox, we also have neutralization. Actually, this is the #1 question sa board exam namin. I took the board exam 2013 and then the #1 question was, what are the products of the reaction of acids and bases? Oh, ito yung tandaan nyo. Pag nag-react ang isang acid sa isang base, you will always get a salt and a water. Although this is just an example ha. Pero you will always get salt and water. The process is called neutralization. Okay, manu-neutralize siya. So meron ka dyang hydrochloric acid. From the name itself, it's an acid. And then we have here a sodium hydroxide. Kapag ka nakikita nyo yung hydroxide na yan, that is an indication that the substance is a base. Okay? So magkakaroon ng neutralization sa kanilang dalawa. Ang makukuha natin, mag-exchange partners kasi yan sila. Naging NaCl na. And then we have the water. Okay? So, pwede ding example, ano ba yung acid na nasa stomach natin? Di ba? HCl pa rin. Nang kapag ka naka-experience na kayo class ng hyperacidity, ano ba yung iniinom pag nag-hyperacidity? Have you tried? Nag-hyperacidity or nag-ulcer or yung nag-heartburn, nag-GERD, gastroesophageal reflux. Have you tried? Wala pa? Mga bata pa manggod mo no. Mga bata wala pa mo anak. Pero usually yung iniinom sa community talaga is yung I always take kasi si Meco, but the one yung reformulated sa yung iniinom talaga sa community, ito yun. Although Kremel S class is a brand, tatlo kasi ang content nitong Kremel S. Meron yan siyang magnesium hydroxide plus aluminum hydroxide. Tapos meron pa yan siyang isang content. So itong dalawang to, they are basic substances. So the process class, kapag ka nag-hyperacidity ka, tapos uminom ka ng Kremel S, the process is neutralization. So since marami ka masyadong hydrochloric acid, nag-hyperacidity ka, labanan natin siya with a basic substance. So for example, this one, magnesium hydroxide first. So ang mangyayari nito, you will get magnesium chloride plus water. So itong magnesium chloride is considered a salt, and then syempre you have the water here. So always talaga yan, this is constant na pag sinabi mong interaction between an acid and a base, you will always get salt and water. And the process is called neutralization. So, kahit sa day-to-day lives natin, na-experience natin, nakikita natin yung neutralization process na yan. And then yung kabaliktaran naman ng neutralization is called hydrolysis. Baliktad ito. Ano siya naging baliktad? Kasi this time, it's a reaction of a salt doon sa water. Pag nagkaroon sila ng reaction, you will get now the acid and the base. So, baliktad. For example, you have the asin, the sodium chloride, tapos nag-interact yan siya sa water, you will get hydrochloric acid plus yung sodium hydroxide. So that's the total opposite of neutralization, hydrolysis. So kaya siya tinawag na hydrolysis kasi action yan siya ng tubig. Okay, hydrolysis. Ang products, acid ay acid and a base. Okay? Hydrolysis yung tawag natin. Now, we also have the saponification. Do not forget this ha. Although ituturo ito sa inyo sa organic chem, tuturuan kayo paano gumawa ng sabon. Kasama naman yan siya sa ginagawa talaga ng pharmacist, no? Kasama yung cosmetics sa pinag-aaralan natin. So, the process class of making soap is called saponification. Ano ang ginagawa sa saponification? You will have here an alkali substance. When I say alkali substance, this is a basic substance. And then, ang interaction niya is either on fats or oils. Tapos, magfo-form na siya ng soap and glycerol. So, for example, meron kang oil dyan. Example, the palm oil, the palm oil plus the olive oil. Tapos mag-interact siya with a basic substance, for example, sodium hydroxide. Makukuha mo dyan ang soap. Though meron kang ikalawang product which is glycerol. But sa itong soap na ito yung tinatawag natin na palmolive. Palmolive. Yan yung brand niya. Kaya siya tinawag na Palmolive because ang ginamit nila nung ginawa nila yung sabon na yan ay palm oil and olive oil. Tapos, nilagyan ng sodium hydroxide, nabuo yung soap. Nagkakaroon lang yan siya ng iba-ibang variant kasi iba-ibang coloring material sa soap o kaya naglalagay sila ng fragrance, so iba-ibang amoy. Yung iba naman naglalagay ng additional antibacterial agent, kaya mayroong mga variant. But nevertheless, yung palmolive na yan na ginagamit natin, dito yan nag-originate. Okay? So, nagamit sila ng palm oil and olive oil and then you have the sodium hydroxide. Actually, we have another example. If, for example, gagamit ka ng coconut oil, tapos pinareact mo siya sa alkali or a basic substance like NaOH, you will still get the soap plus the glycerol. But yung example ng soap na ito that is made up of coconut oil is yung perla. Magamit ba kang perla? Perla na ginapang laba. Oo. Nabuo yan siya class because of the interaction between the coconut oil and the sodium hydroxide. Okay? So, yung mga ibang sabon na nag-e-exist sa market, ganun pa rin naman. The process is still saponification and nasa company na nang gumawa ng soap na yan kung anong fats or oils yung gagamitin nila. Okay? Nevertheless, tuturuan kayo class how to make that. You will make your own soap. Okay? Sige. And then we have fermentation. Ito naman is a process wherein there is an interaction between a microorganism, pwede siyang bacteria, pwede siyang fungi, doon sa isang organic substance, and then this time, ang mapuproduce natin is alcohol. Alcohol na. Okay? So, soap is saponification, alcohol is fermentation. So, ano yan siya? Ayan. So, anong mangyayari dito? Ano bang ginagawa nila? Sa pharmacognosy ninyo na subject that will be on your second year, kasi yung soap making next semester yon organic chemistry. Yung sa pharmacognosy sa inyong second year, ang ituturo naman sa inyo is wine making. So, gagawa kayo ng sarili ninyong wine. Okay? So, Meron kayong, for example, padadalhin kayo ng isang prutas. Usually, yung ginagamit natin for wine na is the grapes. Meron itong sugar, syempre. And sugar is an organic substance. Tapos, lalagyan ito ng yeast. Yeast class is a microorganism, pero it's not a bacteria. Ha, yeast is a fungi. So, magkakaroon yan siya ng interaction dyan sa sugar na yan. Tapos, dun mabubuo yung ating alcohol. So, yung mga pharmacy students sa school, yan yung una nilang ginagawa sa second year nila na subject. Tapos, at the end of the semester, nagwa-wine tasting yan sila. Iniinom talaga nila yung wine na ginagawa sa school. Okay? And then may mga judges nagwa-wine exhibit kasi yung per group hindi siya same na fruits yung gagamitin. Yung iba nagdadala ng langka, so langka na wine ilahang gihimo. Yung iba naman apple. So hindi yan siya na wine is grapes lang talaga ha. So any fruit, syempre may sugar kasi yan. So makaka-produce yan ng alcohol. Okay? Oo, yung ginagamit sa bread. Tama. That's the same yeast na ginagamit sa bread. Yan din yung mag-i-interact with the fruit sugar and yun yung time na makakabuo kayo ng alcohol. Wine lang ang ituturo sa inyo, hindi kasali yung beer, wine usually. Okay, but the process is still the same, fermentation. Okay? Yes, Mr. Eraga, do you have a question?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hmm.
Kailangan po ba sang mag-acidity test pag mag-make sang wine po?
Yep. Kasali yan siya sa testing, pero that is after making the wine. Kasi the pH, the acidity or the pH of the wine will also dictate its quality. Okay, so kasali yan siya sa testing na gagawin.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am.
Okay. So, marami pa kayong test. Siyempre, class, sa wine making sa school, magsisterilize lahat ng gagamitin natin na equipment kasi nga iniinom nila yung wine after making it. Pero iniinom yan siya after the end sa semester pa kasi syempre 'di ba yung wine pinapatagal muna before siya iniinom. Okay? So hindi yan siya agad-agad on the first part sa semester. Okay, anything else? Meron pa kayong gustong i-clarify? Ayan. Wala na. Sige, let's move on. Let's talk about nuclear change. Pag sinabi nating nuclear change, this is different from chemical change. This is different from physical and chemical change. Pag sinabi nating nuclear change, there is really a change sa structure, sa property, sa composition ng nucleus, meaning mag-change talaga ang identity ng iyong substance, mag-change yung atom. Okay? Resulting to, ang magre-result niyan, since mag-change yung atom mo, mag-form ka ngayon ng another element. So we have here an example. Example, meron kang helium. Tapos nag-react siya with another helium. Pag-react nilang dalawa, ang ending, nagkaroon ka ng beryllium. So that is a totally different na element. This time, we call that nuclear change. Kasi sa chemical change class, nakita niyo yung mga examples ko kanina sa sa mga chemical reactions like magnesium mag-react sa oxygen, you will get magnesium oxide. So nakita niyo magnesium is still magnesium sa product as well as oxygen. Oxygen is still oxygen sa product. So chemical change lang 'yon. Okay? Meron ka lang new substance na na-form but you will still see the original elements, okay, from the reactants. Pero pag nakakita kayo ng chemical reaction na like this one, na different element yung original mo na reactant, tapos pagdating sa product, it's a totally different one, yan na yung tinatawag natin na nuclear change. Okay? So, si nuclear change, meron yan siyang dalawang types. Pwede siyang nuclear fission, wherein magsisplit yung isang malaking atom and bubuo siya ng smaller atoms. But the smaller atoms have different identity. So like, pwede nating baliktarin. Na example, you have a bigger atom of beryllium, tapos nag-split siya, bubuo siya ng dalawang helium. That is called nuclear fission. This time naman, nuclear fusion, from the name itself, fusion, ito yung example ko kanina na from smaller atoms like helium, pag nagkaroon sila ng interaction, mabubuo yung ating beryllium. So, ang tandaan nyo lang, kapag nag-iba yung atom or nag-iba yung element sa product, automatic, that's a nuclear change. Okay, so it's different from chemical change. Si chemical change, although meron kang new substance na na-form, pero hindi nag-iiba yung composition, hindi nag-iiba yung atoms. Kung ano yung elements na nasa reactant mo, makikita mo pa rin siya sa iyong product or products kung marami. Now, let's talk about atom kasi pwede pala no mag-change yung ating atom during the reaction. Yan nga, yung sinasabi natin na nuclear change. Let's talk about the atomic structure first. Okay? So, this is how we picture out our atoms. Remember, atoms are the basic unit of matter. We have the so-called nucleus, and in the nucleus, we can see there the protons and the neutrons. Si protons yung ating positively charged subatomic particles. Si neutrons naman, from the name itself, neutron, neutral. Wala siyang charge. Okay? So, saan silang dalawa? Nasa nucleus. And outside the nucleus, doon natin makikita yung electrons. And we assume, actually, tinatanggap natin ito, theory siya dati, pero ngayon, tanggap na siya no, na meron talagang orbital yung ating electrons. Okay, so makikita natin sila outside the nucleus. Pero saan ba nanggaling yung ating mga theories about atoms? It started with Democritus, and he stated na matter is made up of small indivisible particles. Siya yung nag-start nito. And according to him, yung small indivisible particles na yan na nasa matter, ang tawag daw dyan, atomos. Okay? Si Democritus yon. Pero, indivisible nga ba? Siyempre, nag-e-evolve, no? Sa science that is constant, yung change na yan. So, na ano ito? Na napatunayan na hindi siya indivisible. Although it started with Democritus. So, si John Dalton, siya yung nag-start na atom is called an atom. So, according to him, matter is made up of atoms and all atoms of a given element are alike. Nasabi ko ito sa inyo last week na pag sinabing, for example, hydrogen element, it will always be composed of a hydrogen atom. So, pag nag-iba yung type of atoms dyan, hindi na yan siya hydrogen. So, kapag ka same element, same atom yan. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng mag-iba. And then, according to John Dalton, atoms enter into combination with other atoms to form compounds. But they remain unchanged during chemical or ordinary chemical reaction. So again, ulitin natin, itong mga atoms daw na ito, pwedeng combine with other atoms, tapos magfo-form daw siya ng compounds. And then during the reaction, these atoms do not change. Basta ordinary lang ha. Kasi pag nag-change na yan, hindi na yan siya chemical reaction. Nuclear change na yan siya. I mean, hindi na siya ordinary na chemical reaction. Kaya yung example ko kanina, example, you have magnesium, mag-react siya with oxygen. So, magko-combine silang dalawa, you will get the magnesium oxide. As you can see, magnesium and oxygen remain unchanged during the chemical reaction. Okay? And then atoms can combine into simple numerical ratios. Nasabi ko na din ito last time na meron tayong law of definite proportion. Wherein, pag nag-combine itong mga atoms na ito to form compounds, they do so in definite na ratio or definite proportion of the atoms. Like, pag sinabi nating water, our ratio is 2:1, which means dalawang hydrogen, isang oxygen. Hindi yan siya pwedeng magbago. Kasi pag nagbago yan, hindi na yan siya water. Just like this one. Hindi na siya H2O. Hindi na yan siya automatically water kasi hindi na siya 2:1. Naging 2:2 na siya. Ito na yung tinatawag natin na hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so si John Dalton yung nag-postulate ng lahat ng mga ito. Okay? So, yung model naman ni John Dalton was called billiard ball model. Pero he described atom as a hard, indestructible sphere. Kaya nga para daw billiard ball. Okay? Bilog. Okay? It's hard and indestructible. Pero this one was disproved also because of the discovery of the subatomic particles. Okay, meron palang subatomic particles yung ating mga atoms. Ito yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, the law of definite proportion, na kapag ka nag-form daw ng compounds yung ating mga elements, the proportion, the composition, the number of atoms in each element will always be definite. Pag water, H2O. 2:1. Kapag salt, that's NaCl, sodium chloride. This will always be 1:1. Meaning, sodium and chloride, tag-iisa lang sila. Hindi pwedeng ganito. Hindi na yan siya table salt. Okay, so definite yung proportion kapag nag-combine yung mga elements to form compound. So, under yan siya kay John Dalton. So, who else yung mga people involved here in the discovery of our atoms? Si J.J. Thomson naman, yung model niya was called raisin bread or plum pudding model. Dito nag-start class yung electrons sa kanya. Na para daw yung atoms daw, parang parang raisin bread, bilog, tapos may mga ganitong nakalagay. Parang may mga raisins na nakalagay. He described atom as like that. Okay? So, sa kanya nag-start yung thinking na itong mga raisins, these are electrons. Si Rutherford naman, Ernest John Rutherford, he did an experiment, the gold film experiment. Dito niya class na discover yung protons. Siya naman yung nag-discover ng protons. Ito na yung pag-discover ng ating mga subatomic particles. Anong ginawa niya sa kanyang experiment? Sample, this is a gold film. Gold film yan ha. And then, nag-light siya. Nilagyan niya ng light. So, for example, this is the source of light here. Ayan. And then, nung inilawan niya yung kanyang gold film, he observed that yung 99% ng light nag-pass through doon sa gold film. Okay? And then only less than 1% yung bumalik. So, in that experiment, meron siyang mga conclusion, meron siyang proposal na since 99% of the light passed through the gold film, he described na atom is mostly an empty space. Kasi nga, nag-pass through yung 99% ng light. And then yung 1% na bumalik, na na-deflect, according to him, yun daw yung positive particles na concentrated in the nucleus. Okay? So, siya ang nag-discover nitong protons class. So, dito nag-start yung, kasi yung light niya is positively charged. For a moment, kay malobat. Napatay ako laptop. Time sa charge na ba siya? Siguro. Okay. So, yung light niya kasi class is positively charged. So, di ba, opposite attracts. So, pag positive, negative, mag-a-attract yan siya. Kaya, nag-pass through yung mga lights dyan. Tapos, yung positive kasi yung kanyang, yung kanyang light. So, positive din yung nasa gitna. Positive, positive, nag-repel sila. Kaya, na-deflect yung 1%. Yes, Mr. Eraga, yung question.
Ma'am, excuse me po, nag-ask po yung piyak na section, ma'am, kung ikaw po daw schedule nila subong.
Yeah, 1:30.
Ay, 1:30. Balabi rin, ma'am, 10:30 daw.
Si Ma'am, ay wait, group 1 yan, no? Group 2, di ba kayo?
Piyak section, ma'am.
Naman ka, section B po, ma'am.
Ay, section B, mamaya pa klase nila 4:30 to 7:30. Kindly tell them 4:30 to 7:30. Klase nila. Di ba sila nabigyan ng ng new schedule? May new schedule kasi. Yung klase nila today will start at 1:30 to 4:30 with Ma'am Cherry Baruiz sa Botany Lab. Tapos mamaya yung kanilang in-org lab 4:30 to 7:30. Yan yung new schedule na binigay. Sige. Let us continue. So, another name here, we have Neil Bohr. Yung kanyang description naman sa atom was called the planetary model. Planetary model, parang planets natin na nag-orbit sa sun. So, he described it as like this one. Meron ka daw sun dyan. He described it as a nucleus. And then, yung mga, yung mga electrons andito sa orbitals nila surrounding the sun. So, parang planets na nag-surround sa sun yung ating, atom. Meron siyang nucleus and then may mga nakapalibot na electrons. So, he called this the planetary model. And then, Erwin Schrödinger naman, siya yung nagbigay class ng anong tawag dyan, idea that there is the presence of the electron cloud, yung orbitals na tinatawag natin ngayon, na doon natin makikita yung ating electrons. So, isa-isa silang pag-discover niyan. Okay? Pero to summarize, again, the theories on atoms started with Democritus. He called it atomos, which is a hard, indestructible sphere. No, that was John Dalton pala, sorry. So, si atomos yan siya. And then, si John Dalton yung sa billiard ball model. Siya talaga yung nag-start ng atomic theory na yan. Tapos, si J.J. Thomson, he coined the raisin bread model. So, doon natin na-discover yung electrons. Tapos, si Ernest John Rutherford, yung sa gold film experiment. And sa gold film experiment niya, dun yun na-discover yung protons. And to complete, yung nag-discover naman sa neutron, si kulang ng isa, no? Si James Chadwick. Okay, itong JJ, this is Joseph John Thomson. Yan yung mga pangalan nila. Dagdag na lang yon to complete the picture of the atom, si Neil Bohr for the planetary model and si Erwin Schrödinger para doon sa electron cloud, yung pagka-discover ng mga orbitals ng ating electrons. Okay? So that is the summary. Any question or clarification? This one? Wala? Wala na. Sige, let's talk about ions. Pag sinabi nating ions class, ito yung mga charged atom natin. Kasi supposedly pag atom lang, wala naman talaga siyang charge. Pag nagkaroon siya ng charge, ang tawag na natin dyan, ion. And we have two types of ions class. We have the cation. Please take note that T there will give you a hint that ito yung positively charged ions natin. And then automatically the anion, yung negatively charged. So examples of cations, we have sodium ion, calcium ions. As you can see, yung mga charge nila ay positive. Aluminum ion also is a cation. So usually metals are cations and the non-metals naman are our anions. Kaya we have examples like chlorine, it's negatively charged, as well as iodine, that is also negatively charged. Oxygen also, sorry, remove the 2 here. Oxygen also is negative 2, so it's an anion. A lot of our nonmetals are anions class. Okay? So, sa atomic structure, kung titingnan natin class yung sa inyong periodic table, ito yung mga makikita natin. The symbol of the element, you will have the mass number. Other names sa mass number, parehas lang ito ha. Pwede natin siyang tawagin na atomic mass. Pwede din natin siya tawagin na atomic weight. Okay? Or mass number. Parehas lang yan sila. And ano yung nire-represent ng ating mass number? It's the sum of the number of protons and the number of neutrons. Okay? Ia-add mo sila. Pag atomic number naman, dito siya sa baba, yung symbol natin for atomic number is Z. This only represents the number of protons. So, protons lang. Kaya, class, please take note, most of the time, except for hydrogen, mas mababa talaga ang atomic number kaysa sa atomic mass. Kasi protons lang ito. Yung atomic mass merong neutrons. Okay? So, I hope that is clear. So again, atomic number is the number of protons. But please take note, kapag atoms ito, hindi ions ha, the number of protons will always be equal to the number of electrons. Okay, pantay yan sila. And the mass number represents the number of protons plus the neutrons. So let me give you an example. We have, for example, chlorine. Chlorine is 3517. You have your periodic table there. Please check. Yung atomic mass ni chlorine ay 35. Yung kanyang atomic number naman ay 17. So let's try to predict kung ilan yung protons, ilan yung electrons, and ilan yung neutron. Sige. So in this case, class, let me ask you, pila kabuok ang protons ni chlorine here? Pila kabuok ang protons? Yes, may nag-chat. Miss Herrera, that is correct, 17. Bakit nga 17? Kasi ulitin natin, this atomic number, itong nasa baba, represents the number of protons. Okay, so that is 17. Paano naman yung kanyang electron? Pila pud kabuok ang electron ni chlorine? Electrons muna, electrons. Babalikan natin yung previous slide. Ano daw sabi? The number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. Kung walang charge yung ating atom. So, tama yun, Miss Herrera. That is still 17. Okay? Tapos, pag neutrons daw, dito na natin siya makikita sa mass number. Protons plus neutrons kasi. If the mass number is 35, tanggalin mo yung 17 dyan kasi 17 is for the protons. Ang maiiwan syempre yung neutron. So, to get the number of neutrons, all you need to do is to subtract. So, you have here the mass number. Our symbol is capital letter A minus the number of protons. Or, you can have the neutrons is equal to the A, that's the mass number, minus the Z. Z is the atomic number. Then, the atomic number represents the number of protons. So, our neutrons here, ito na yung 18. That is correct. Is Deca. Ito na yung 18 dyan. Okay, that's how you predict the protons, electrons, and neutrons ng isang element. Okay, let us have another example. Let's have another example. We have calcium. Calcium is 40-20. So, pila ka buok iyahang protons? Okay? Duga and bislakang-lakang. That is correct. 20. 20 yung kanyang protons. Ang titingnan natin, the atomic number. So, how about the electrons? That is still correct. 20. Kasi, wala itong charge. 'Di ba? Wala siyang charge. So, still 20. How about the neutrons? The neutrons, paano natin i-compute yung neutrons? Walang 19 dito, ha? 40 minus 20 is still 20. So, for calcium class, pantay lahat. Protons, electrons, and neutrons, parehas silang 20. Any question or clarification? Baka may gusto kayong tanungin. Wala? Baka na. Sige, last example before tayo mag-move on. We have, for example, zinc. Zinc, 65 and 30. So, pila ka buok ang protons, ana? Okay, very good. Is Deca, that is 30 also. And that is the atomic number. How about the electrons? The electrons still 30 kasi wala itong charge. How about the neutrons? Okay, 65 minus 30 is 35. 35. Hindi 25, but 35. Kasi 65 minus 30. 35 yung ating number of neutrons. Paano kung lagyan natin ng charge, no? Lagyan natin ng charge. Anong pangyayari dyan kung lalagyan natin ng charge? For example, zinc. Ang charge ng zinc is positive 2. Anong gagawin natin dyan? Ganito gagawin ninyo ha. For proton, that is still the same, 30. Hindi naman nagbago yung kanyang atomic number. Sa neutron naman, that is still 35 kasi hindi din nagbago yung kanyang atomic mass. Nagkaroon lang siya ng charge. Yung maapektuhan class, pag nagkaroon ng charge is itong number of electrons. Okay? Ang tatandaan ninyo, kapag positive ang charge, that means nawalan siya ng electron. Meaning, mas marami na yung kanyang protons. Kaya positive ang charge. Okay? So, kung nawalan siya ng electrons, hindi na ito 30. Yung nawala na number of electrons, yan yung kasama niya na number. Meaning, for zinc positive 2 or zinc ion, nawalan siya ng 2 electrons. Kaya, ang answer dito ay 28 na lang. Yan yung magiging sagot. I-compare natin siya sa chlorine kanina. Chlorine 1735. Example, nagkaroon ito ng charge. Yung proton class ni chlorine, parehas lang, 17 pa rin. Yung electron yung magbabago. Yung neutrons, parehas pa rin. 35 minus 17, that's 18. So, magbabago yung electrons. Pero this time, take note of this one. Yung charge niya, negative. Which means, class, since nag-negative siya, yun yung time na nag-gain siya ng electron. Nadagdagan siya ng isa, kasi 1 yung number dyan. Nadagdagan siya ng isang electron. So, hindi na ito 17. Okay? Kasi supposedly, di ba, normally, pantay ang protons and electrons. Pero nagdagdagan siya ng isa. Kaya, ang isusulat natin dyan, kung may charge ay 18. Okay? Kanina, di ba, 17? Pero pag nagkaroon siya ng charge, 18 na siya. Okay? So, ulitin ko, kapag ka negative ang charge ng iyong ion, that means nag-gain siya ng electron. Pag positive naman yung charge kagaya nito, ito yung nag-loss ng electron. Okay? So, kay nag-loss man siya, pag minus ka dyan, ito na gain, mag-add ka. Yung amount ng i-minus mo or i-add mo is yung kasama na number dyan sa charge. Okay, so that's how you predict the number of protons and electrons and neutrons. Any question? Baka meron kayong gustong itanong. Wala. Gusto pa ko tayo. Sige. Sandali. Check ko lang. Okay. Malapit na ako mag-end. Tapos, ibibigay ko sa inyo yung activity. Kita ako ng activity. Ano ba yan? Sana. Atomic structure. Yes, Mr. Koino, you have question before tayo mag-proceed.
Mag-ask ko ma'am ba kung isend ba na nimo sa ng recorded na video ma'am?
I'll send this sa inyo. Ginaano ko pa siya. Tag dyan, gina-upload ko siya. Tapos
Thank you,
isend
ma'am.
ko. Para balikan ninyo.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Sige. We have here class terms na kailangan natin i-define. We have the isotopes, isotones, isobars, and isomers. Ano yung mga dapat tandaan natin sa kanila? Si isotopes, same element siya. Okay? Actually, na-mention na natin, no, si hydrogen, meron siyang isotopes. Yung mga protium, deuterium, and tritium. So, same element. Pag same element, same proton din yan siya. Okay? Same proton na tayo. Sulat maayos itong aking pen. Ito ko. This is same proton also. Kung same element siya. And then, saan different yung ating isotopes? Sa mass number. Bakit nagbago yung mass number niya? Kasi nagbago yung kanyang neutrons. Yung amount or yung number ng neutrons niya. Kaya yung example natin, si hydrogen, meron siyang protium, deuterium, and tritium. Parehas na element yan, hydrogen yan lahat. Parehas din silang may 1 na protons. Ang nagkaiba yung neutrons nila. Si protium, wala siyang neutron. So, yung kanyang mass number ngayon, mass number niya is 1. And then, si deuterium naman, meron siyang isang neutron, kaya yung mass number niya ay 2. So, different sila ng mass number. Si tritium also, 2 yung neutron niya. So, that's a total of 3. Yan yung kanyang mass number. So kapag ka ganito, same element pero different yung mass number kasi different yung number of neutrons, ang tawag natin dyan isotopes. Okay? Isotopes yung tawag natin. Any question or clarification? Baka may gusto kayong itanong. Pilit na natin. Tapos, meron din tayo isotones. Ano naman yung isotones? Same sila ng number of neutrons, pero different yung proton class. Please take note class ha, pag different ang proton, automatic it's a different element. Meaning different element. Baliktad ito, yung isotone is kabaliktaran ng isotopes. Kasi si isotope, same element. So, same protons. This time, sa isotones, different yung number of protons, kaya automatically, different element din yan. Pero, saan sila magkapareho? Sa number of neutrons. So, for example, si helium. Si helium kasi is 4, 2. 4 yung kanyang atomic mass, 2 yung kanyang atomic number, which means pila ka buok iyang neutrons. Ang protons nito ay helium ito ha. Ang protons nito ay 2. Ang neutrons, pila yung neutrons aning atong helium? The neutrons ani. How do we get the neutrons? I-minus nato, di ba? Okay, Miss Becca, that is correct. This is 2. 4 minus 2, that is 2. Okay? And then remember that the hydrogen na tritium. Diba si tritium, ang protons niyan 1. Proton lang isa. Kay hydrogen pa rin naman siya. Kaya lang yung neutrons neto, sinulat ko kanina, di ba? 2. Okay? So si hydrogen and si helium ngayon, ang tawag sa kanila isotones kasi different elements sila, different yung protons, pero pareha sila na number of neutrons. Ang tawag dyan again, isotones, neutrons, isotones. Okay? And then how about the isobars? This time, different pa rin na element. So, pag different ang element, different protons yan ha. Different protons. Pero, saan sila magkaparehas ngayon? Sa mass number. Okay? Si helium and si hydrogen, neutrons lang magkapareha ha, pero sa mass number, hindi sila magkapareho. Okay? This is 3 pala, sorry. Ayan. Ano yung examples natin ng isobar? Merong mga elements class na nag-e-exist just like this one. Our carbon and nitrogen. Meron kasi, supposedly carbon is like, 12, no. Yeah, 12. Carbon is 12. Pero may carbon kasi na nag-e-exist like this. 14 yung kanyang mass number. And then, 6 yung kanyang atomic number. And then, si nitrogen, originally, 14 naman talaga siya. Sulat natin. And then, 7 yung kanyang atomic number. So, as you can see, they are different elements. Pero look at their mass number. 14. Parehas sila. So, ang tawag natin sa kay carbon and kay nitrogen sa case na ito is isobar. Okay? Isobar ang tawag. And then si isomer naman, substance ito na similar ang molecule or ang molecular formula. You will learn this actually more sa organic chemistry. Mas ma-encounter niyo si isomer sa organic chem kesa sa inorganic chem. Okay? Kasi itong mga molecular formula na ito, makikita natin sa OrgChem. Tapos different yung kanilang structure. Let me show you an example. Stop lang ako, share screen, and I'll show you an example of an isomer. May katagal. Second. Meron dito sa inyo nag-bridging.
Ako po, ma'am.
So, hindi ka STEM nung high school. So, I hope na pag-aralan natin siya. Yan. This one. Ito ay example ng isomer. As you can see, class, parehas sila ng molecular formula. Parehas sila, class, na C2H6O. Okay? Or oxygen. Kung bibilangin natin si ethanol, dalawa, yes, check, dalawang, ano yan? Tamaan natin. Ayan. Bibilangin natin, yes, dalawang carbon, si ethanol. Dalawang carbon din si dimethyl ether. Si hydrogen for ethanol, kung bibilangin natin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is correct. For dimethyl ether naman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that is still H6. And meron silang tag-iisang oxygen. So, pareha sila ng molecular formula, C2H6O. Pero, let's look at the structure. Hindi sila magkapareho. Yan yung tinatawag natin, class, na isomer. Same molecular formula, different structure. So, different talaga sila na substance. This one is the ethanol. Ito yung ethyl alcohol na tinatawag natin. And this one is an ether, dimethyl ether. So, meron siyang carbon. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na you can encounter more of these isomers kapag ka mag-organic chem na kayo next semester. Okay? Kasi usually sa carbon ito nangyayari, itong mga isomers na ito. But nevertheless, we call them isomers. So I hope that is clear. The same molecule, same molecular formula, pero different structure yung ating isomers. Okay? And then, meron tayong tinatawag na allotropism wherein ang isang element mag-e-exist siya in two or more conditions. And itong two or more conditions na ito or two or more na forms niya will have different physical and chemical na mga properties. Ang substance class na nag-e-exist is called allotrope. Okay? Anong example nito? Allotrope. Meron tayong tinatawag na allotrope of carbon. Okay, allotropes, marami pala sila, no? Kasi, ano yan siya? Silang lahat, they are made up of carbons, but they have different forms. And because they have different forms, they have different physical and chemical properties. Ano yung examples ng mga allotropes ng carbons? Siyempre, meron tayong coal, or pwede na, sige, charcoal. Yung ginagamit natin na literally charcoal, that is made up of carbon. That is another form of carbon. Now, meron din tayong tinatawag na graphite, yung nasa lead ng ating pencil, for example. That is still made up of carbon. And then, another one, diamond. Diamond dati has been the hardest mineral, pero hindi na ngayon. Pero matigas masyado ang carbon, di ba? If you want to cut carbon, you need another carbon to do that. Ganun siya katigas. Pero please take note, class, that diamond is just made up of carbon. So silang lahat ay carbon. Carbon lang lahat ang makikita natin sa structure. Pero iba-iba sila ng form, 'di ba? Iba masyado. Yung ating charcoal, ang bilis natin siyang ma-divide kasi although it's solid, but it's soft. The graphite is harder, pero iba din yung kanyang form, iba yung kanyang physical, and even yung chemical properties niya. Labi na ang diamond, gahi kaayo, tapos shiny, di ba? Iba yung talagang form niya compared to the two. Pero it is still made up of carbon. Yan yung tinatawag natin na allotropism. the existence of different forms of our elements. They are made up of the same element but they have different forms, thus they have different properties. Okay, that is allotropism. Ito, carbon, graphite, diamond, yan yung mga allotropes. Allotropes ng carbon. Okay, so pwedeng mangyari yan. And then orbitals, nasabi ko na, I will end here. Nasabi ko na ito kanina, ito yung space doon sa atom natin where we can see the electrons. Okay, orbitals yung tawag natin. Okay, I will end here, class. I will be giving you your activity. Sandali. So, yung remaining time,